Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and today we're going to be talking about the secret to do a large amounts of damage in World of Tanks Blitz. And of course, I'm going to be sharing the key components with you guys in order to do maximum amount of damage in one game, like 5k, 6k, etc, etc. That is going to be very important. Now, the very first thing I'm going to say is that make sure that your enemies are going to be a little bit more dumb than usual. Again, this is supposed to be a joke. Ha ha ha. Very funny. But, it does matter, guys, because usually when someone does do like 6k, 7k damage, this means that the enemy is making a huge amount of mistakes. It's not that you're playing much better than usual. It's more that, the enemy is making more mistakes than usual rather than you being much better, right? So let's get that out of the way. Of course, what I'm trying to say is that luck is a huge component in this regard. You need to get lucky, and you won't be able to do a 6k game 10 times in a row, unless, again, you're extremely lucky, but this will not happen no matter how skilled you are. So getting that out of the way, right? What's the number one thing you need to do in order to maximize your damage in one game? And that is to survive. If you're going to die early, you're just not going to be able to do a lot of damage, right? This makes sense. Again, I see this a lot, and I make this mistake myself a lot. You can rush into a position, you might miscalculate the situation, and you might just get yourself into a really bad situation where you die. So again, the most important thing here is going to be survival. Survive as long as possible and try not to die quickly. If you're the first three, tanks to die on your team, that means you are doing something wrong, and you have to reconsider the way you are playing the game. So simple as that, guys. Simple as that. You really need to reconsider what you're doing wrong, because again, dying, in the first three tanks on the list in every game is very, very bad for you. Next thing is to make sure that you hit, well, not all of your shots, but try and hit all of your shots, right? I say this a lot. By the way, Huawei are running a cool discount for you guys. You guys can get coupons giving up to 30% off and up to 5% back in Huawei points, which is really, really cool. All you have to do is go through the link below in the description, of course, and in the comment section below pinned. And you do have to use PayPal or use a VPN to any European countries. Otherwise, you might not be able to get this discount. Good luck and enjoy. But then again, a lot of people lack in this department as well. They miss a lot of their shots, or they whiff their shots for an unknown reason, and they cannot wait long enough for the circle to become small. Just please put emphasis on the fact that you should wait like a few milliseconds longer and make sure that you actually hit your shot. Make sure that the aiming circle is as small as possible, and then shoot so you can maximize that shot. Again, I know people who play the game and they literally miss shots point blank, and this happens like 2, 3, 4 times in one game. And if you're playing in something like an E100, that's literally 2.5k, right? I mean, that's a huge, big chunk of damage you're just potentially throwing out into the air, right? So that's number 3. Of course. And then the next tip I would definitely give you guys is to play proper tanks. Please play proper tanks, because some tanks are incapable of doing large amounts of damage all the time. That is, again, simply because they're not designed to do so. These can be tanks like low DPM tanks, or very team dependent tanks. Like a lot of TDs are going to struggle with doing huge amounts of damage simply because they don't struggle with doing huge amounts of damage. It's that they struggle to do this damage consistently, or they are very team dependent. So if you don't want to rely on your team in order to do damage as much, try and take more, less dependent tanks onto your team, right? It's simple as that. So these are going to be my main tips in order to do more damage in game. And the first two might be obvious, but you really need to think about them in order to do proper amounts of damage. And again, it's surviving and hitting your shots. These two are going to be the most important aspects in order to do more damage and, of course, get lucky. So with that, Happy is out, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Bye-bye.